Hi, I'm Joe Hoy. This is my colleague Chris Greenwich. We're going to be asking Helen Ify some questions about nuclear power plants.
First question, what are your job responsibilities?
Well, I'm a contractor at several nuclear and utility plants throughout the U.S. and basically my basic function is to repair pumps. So I bring in a pump, I disassemble it, I figure out what's wrong with it, and we reassemble it for the plant.
What security features do you go through when you enter a nuclear power plant?
Well, I'm licensed to work at Limerick, and when you go to a nuclear power plant, you have to take for example, you have to take a drug test, a background test, criminal background check, and then you have to take 3 days of training. And then once you get certified, that's just certified to get into the plant, and then you have to take another 2-day certification to get into the what they call the hot area.
Have you seen any security violations while you're at the plants?
Truthfully, I was one of the security violations. At 3 Mile Island, they got me into a part of the plant I shouldn't have been in, and they did a check, and we had a violation, and we got called out on it.
Has there been any major changes in the security since you first started working there?
It's pretty tight in the nuclear industry, not as much as the utility, but on the nuclear side it's extremely tight, and it's checked daily. When you go in, you get checked, and throughout the day you're checked for terroristic actions. And one of the violations I had is I went out for lunch, and we didn't check out. I didn't know we had to check out, and they said I could have been put on the terrorist list at that time. So it's pretty stringent to get into a plant, a nuclear plant in the U.S. today is extremely difficult. About probably less than half the people that apply get in.
Do you think nuclear energy is the way to go?
Absolutely. This solar energy and wind energy is just a complete joke. It's never going to provide the energy the U.S. needs. The basic energy the U.S. needs, 50% of the energy coming from the U.S. is coal. The rest is oil and nuclear. And this solar and wind is just a joke. NRG has wind farms, Exelon has solar farms, and it's baselined like the nuclear industry is into the grid, and it's a complete joke. It's never going to be realistic.
What federal regulations are there with nuclear energy?
Well, the nuclear industry has a whole separate government entity that governs it, and it's extremely much more strict because of the nuclear side. It's double check and triple check more or less. When you go on the utility side, you just make electric, it's not a big deal, but when you do nuclear, it's you have to be certified, double check, triple check in order to make the energy. It's much more stringent than the regular the coal or the oil industry in the U.S.
Are you ever worried about getting radiation poison?
Now you wear these tags and you go in, and they're lifetime tags, and so they give you radiation for the tags associated with you as a person, not you as a company. So when you go from company to company, this tag goes with you, and you can tell how many radiation amps you get. And if you ever go anywhere near the minimum, they're not going to let you back in, but that's really not a concern. I've worked at 3 Mile Island for a lot of times, and the nuclear energy that went throughout 3 Mile Island, it's not like a regular plant anymore. It's throughout the plant, and it's really not a I mean, I know people that when they were younger they were kids at 3 Mile Island, they got tested, and they've been tested for now the last, what, 30, 35 years, and they still don't have any nuclear energy, so I'm not worried about that at all.
Do you believe nuclear energy is the way of the future?
Well, it's the way of the future until something else is invented. As I think in my mind that Edison was one of the great inventors of the 1800s, and he produced electricity, which changed the world. It changed the environment. People couldn't work at night, and then electricity was invented, and they could work at night. And until another Edison comes along, nuclear energy is the way to go, and it's the only way to go in the country.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.